If you feel inclined to do so, do it. Hug. Hug somebody. It feels great. That's next on this episode of the Gratitude Journal podcast.
This is the Gratitude Journal podcast.
Welcome back, downloaders of this, the Gratitude Journal podcast. Those of you who listen on whatever device you choose to listen to in your spare time, in your downtime, in the time that you set aside for listening to podcasts. There are many, no doubt about that. But this one designed for us to maybe try to be aware a little bit about finding more gratitude in our lives, and the gratitude we do find to be more grateful for the things that are around us. So there are many podcasts to choose from. They grow leaps and bounds. They grow by the hundreds every day, maybe even the thousands. I mean, everybody is getting into the podcast domain. So we have to pick and choose our podcasts wisely. We have to pick and choose the way we use our time because, podcasts take up time, and you and I only have so much time in the day. And so if you include the Gratitude Journal in your podcast downloading, I very much appreciate it. My name's Matthew, and I'm in Northeast Ohio, and this is going to be a shortened version of the podcast today because we have been furiously trying to get our stuff together for our impending journey to my sister's out-of-state wedding. Now, Donna's already been away for a couple of days, hanging out with her girlfriends in secret locales, and now she's back, so she's assisting me in getting everything together. But I did want to just throw something out very quickly while I have the space between both doing work and getting ready for this journey, and that is this. If you haven't received a vaccine, can I just urge you to do that? I don't know the political affiliation that you affix to the whole vaccine thing, but regardless of how you feel, at this point, I don't care, at least for this instance. I mean, I care how you feel, and I care if we probably differ in opinion, but for this going forward, I mean, I can tell you that having the opportunity since being vaccinated, being around people who also are vaccinated, the idea, I mean, I'm a hugger. That's just the way it is. I like it. I think it's my kind of go-to way to express my just my appreciation for other people. And, I think we all crave that kind of human contact. And so I enjoy that. And it's my way of greeting people, the people that I enjoy, the people who are friends, the people who feel comfortable with it. I feel like I have been sort of really deprived, as have a large amount of the population, that we're not able to express these things, whether it's hugging or shaking hands or a pat on the back or, getting close to somebody and talking. It's just been so foreign and so unreal. And I do have some fear because I've been, as you know from listening to this podcast, I've been a pretty vocal proponent of wearing a mask and social distancing because I think the vaccine is real. I mean, the 600,000 people who have perished would also agree with me, I believe, and their families. So, the thought that this somehow doesn't exist or that it's not as serious as it could be or is rumored to be, to me is pure balderdash. I mean, I just don't buy it. And I'm using a very gracious term. And I think, though, that venturing out this weekend and being around a large group of people. I have a large family, and I think there's going to be a lot of people, at this particular event. This is the first large-scale event that we've attended. And I did attend a large-scale event back in early summer during COVID, and I thought it was an event where everybody was going to be masked and social distance, and it was the complete opposite. It was as if COVID never existed. I mean, I was probably there for 5 minutes, and I turned around and I announced to the rest of my family that I was going to leave because I didn't feel comfortable. This is a little different. A number of people I know have been vaccinated, but my point in bringing this up is that I think that it's really critical that we show gratitude for the people around us and that we show appreciation for what all of us have been through. We share something common. We have been through a pandemic. And if you've been lucky enough not to have anyone in your immediate family perish from the vaccine or from the virus, then you are very, very fortunate and very, very lucky and should be very, very grateful. I know of somebody who knows somebody who perished. I do not have a direct relationship with anybody who has died from the virus, but that doesn't make it any less serious. Having said that, I do think that we share something very special, all of us, that we have been through this thing and we now are going to be able to hopefully sit back and not just be more involved with each other because of those who have been vaccinated, but we're going to sit back and analyze how we have dealt with this pandemic, how we have dealt individually and as a group about how we have weathered the storm, and when the next storm comes, how will we weather that? The latter part of that, I don't have very good feelings because I still feel like there is a lot of pushback about this. But I think the thing that can unite us is being able to shake hands once again and not feeling fear, being able to hug and not feeling fear, and not feeling that we have to make judgment calls on each other based on whether we're wearing a mask or not, based on whether we are social distancing or not. And although this has become a barometer for measuring everything else about us, I do think that we need to be grateful, number one, that if you're still alive and you've been untouched for the most part by this virus, that we should be pretty damn grateful about that. And I feel grateful. I feel like the 3 trips we made to St. Louis over this past year could very much have set us up to get the virus. I'm assuming we've never had it. I mean, there are people who have felt kind of bad for a couple of days and then they got over it and they had the virus. I mean, that could have been the case, but I don't think that Donna and I have had the virus, even with all the traveling that we had to do during last year. And I think, though, that this time, this place where we are, is going to be, I think, the tipping point as to how we react and endure the next one. And whether you're going to a wedding out of state or whether you're just hanging out at home, I think that this act of being able to immerse ourselves with each other once again is really a life-giving, life-sustaining situation. I think not only do we just need to be grateful for it, but I think we really need to reassess the people in our lives, who's important in our lives, why they're important in our lives. If you've never told them that they're important in your life, to tell them. If you've never shared the thing that you really appreciate the most about that person, to share it. If you've never admitted something that you've always wanted to share with them or always wanted to tell them, I think that now is the time, because we realize how quickly our lives pass, like the blink of an eye, really. The time it takes for that eyelash to bounce on the top of your cheek and go up again. This thing that we're experiencing is over. It's done. And these events that we use to measure the effectiveness and the success and the enjoyment of our lives, large-scale events like these very happy times like a wedding. These, granted, are milestone events, but we need to find these events on a smaller scale all the time. And it's really a goal of mine, and I think it's an expectation of the rest of society for me to find these small things and be just as grateful and happy and enjoyable with those things as I can in looking forward to the wedding of my sister and her husband-to-be. So I think the vaccine acts as the synapse to get us from one place to another. So I know that there are lots of openings for people to get the vaccine because on the span of a month, there has been a severe decrease in the amount of people that have been getting it. And I think that there is a feeling out there that if I've had the virus, then that means I'm not going to get it. So I'm not going to get the vaccine. And I would just urge you to reconsider that if that's the way you're thinking. And in the meantime, I'm going to try to make it a point to find the gratitude in those smaller things that are not big weddings, the smaller things that push me from this place where I've been the past almost 15 months and move me to the next place that is hopefully more open and honest and appreciative of the things around me. So I would urge you to do the same thing. And who knows, we'll meet sometime and share a hug if you're into that. And if not, it would be nice to at least shake hands with people again. That would just feel good. It makes us connected. And maybe it gives us a new appreciation of those things, whereas before we maybe did not have an appreciation of those things. So in the meantime, my better half and I are southbound, and we're going to witness the wedding of my sister and her new husband, Ernie. It's a strange, fascinating story of people who knew each other long ago and, were connected by the state of West Virginia, of all places. And, now they are going to get hitched and develop and mold and create a new life together. And nobody deserves it more than my youngest sister, who has, for the most part, raised her sons, in many ways by herself over the past decade or more, and has watched these three kids grow into these super talented, well-adjusted, a joy to be around. And I can't wait to spend time with them, especially coming off the tail end of a virus. And so I'm so happy for my sister and her new life. And I'm happy that we all are beginning to emerge from the cocoon. And we can do even more so if we all just get that little or two of them little needle pricks in our arms, and then we can just move on with our life. And let's be grateful for that. Until then, I thank you for listening and downloading this shortened version of the Gratitude Journal podcast.